Ethan Geary. I'd like to introduce the Choice Hotel Group. Choice is a consortium of 10 different hotel brands and operates primarily on a franchise model, meaning that they license the brand name to a hotel owner, and every year he will pay fees to Choice Hotels. And for those fees, he gets the ability to use the name. He must also hold his hotel to certain standards. Choice market is mid-level to low mid-level. It's targeted at a lower income bracket than some of the other hotels we've looked at, so it's different in that department as well. The 10 brands within Choice are the Comfort Inn, the Comfort Suites, the Quality Inn, the Sleep Inn, the Clarion Inn, Mainstay Suites, Suburban Extended Stay Lodge, the Econo Lodge, and the Roadway Inn. Over the last 5 years, revenue is essentially up. However, it is down in the last year from the economic downturn. 2008 saw a big dip. This is due basically because travel is the first thing to go in a bad economy. Businesses and holiday travelers tend to spend less money. The hotel industry is seasonal. It is not sort of uniformly busy. So as you can see, quarter 3 shows that we have our highest sales, which is the summer holiday essentially, and the beginning of the school academic year. Profit. We chose to compare net profit margin to operating profit margin. Net profit margin is generally actually a more general indicator of profitability, and it has actually bounced back from 2008 when it was down significantly. So it's now at about 2007 levels. Operating profit margin, the yellow, is a different story. This is more interesting to us and from this perspective because it more directly indicates the performance of management. What are they doing in their daily operations? How are they handling the company? So it's good to look at that as distinct from net profit. Price to earnings. A healthy price to earnings ratio is around 15. Ours is hovering around 19, which is good. It is used as a predictor of earnings growth. So in that sense, Choice is a very attractive investment for shareholders and potential shareholders. So on to debt. With regard to debt, Choice is a very interesting case. We chose to analyze its capitalization ratio and also its cash flow to debt ratio. These figures, given a different industry, would be very bad. However, Choice is different. Its capitalization ratio is 70%, and its cash flow to debt ratio is, well, currently around 40%, but actually got to 36.7% in 2008, when times were really bad. So the capitalization should generally be lower, and the cash flow to debt should be higher. With regard to Choice, it has stable expectations of future cash flow, making these debts a little bit less severe, making these figures a little bit less severe. And it does demonstrate that Choice effectively leverages its debt in order to grow its business operations. Lastly, Choice Hotels' most famous guest, Chuck Norris. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome our group's own Chuck Norris, Carl Shackman.
Hi, my name is Carl Shackman, and I'll be talking about the corporate social responsibility program we see across the hotel industry. And more specifically, I'll be focusing on Intercontinental Hotel Group's CSR program. Now, when IHG was developing their CSR program, they had to weigh two competing interests. On one end, they had their business interests. What were the things that are going to help the bottom line, the profitability of the company? On the other end, they had to weigh the stakeholders' interest. What were some of the issues that their stakeholders thought were important for CSR programs? Where these two interests converge is where IHG has focused their energies on. And this has been in this quadrant, and the topics of interest were climate change, energy efficiency, carbon cost, environmental impacts on the local communities, and community support as well. Now, how has IHG decided to manifest these ideas into actual concrete programs? The first has been in the last few years, Green Engage. Green Engage is an electronic metered management system which allows for hotel owners to better identify sources for energy consumption reduction. In the few hotels that have already implemented Green Engage, they've seen in 2009 up to a 10% decrease in their energy use. Also, not only does this create decreases in costs for each of the hotels, but it also minimizes each environmental impact of the hotels across the world as well. Once IHG has implemented Green Engage to all its hotels, it expects 15 to 25% in energy savings. This equates to about $200 million in portfolio savings per year for the company. Another way IHG has focused its CSR program has been in the Innovation Hotel, which is a brand new online tool which allows for visitors and customers of the hotel to put their own say into where they believe the hotels can make improvements on things such as energy use, waste management, water use, and also the impacts that these hotels have on their community. By creating more voices involved in this process, IHG hopes to find other opportunities to cut costs, help profitability, and help their brand image as well. In 2009, the results were born from this concept of Green Engage Innovation Hotel, which was that IHG won the Worldwide Hospitality Award for the best initiative in sustainable development. We believe that if more hotels mirrored this kind of system that IHG has implemented, it could see across the industry better profits and also less of an environmental impact as well in the future. Next, Jackie will be discussing the 4 different companies we've talked about thus far and giving their comparative analysis. Thank you.
I will take a further step and look at comparisons through the whole industry. In 2009, the whole industry suffers because of the hit of the crisis. Although the 4 companies under analysis still remain profitable, we can still see a clear decreasing trend of the revenues. For gross profits, Intercontinental and Choice have more stable behavior because both of them are operated in model of franchisor, which is less susceptible to external factors. Marriott's gross profits plunged in 2008 and 2009 because of its more vulnerable model, since most of its hotels are owned and managed. Although Shangri-La has a similar model as Marriott does, its focus on Asian market, especially China market, helped it to offset some of the losses of gross profit in other regions. For current ratio, we know that a number bigger than 1 indicates a better capability to meet short-term debt. For the whole industry, the median quarter is approximately 1.1, but we can see that Intercontinental has the ratio number only half of the norm. We consider this as a result that Intercontinental has the world's largest hotel loyalty program, which requires it to estimate huge payables to its customers. In turn, that will account for huge current liabilities. For ROA, we see that Choice has an amazingly high number for ROA. That is because most of its hotels are franchised and it doesn't have much assets. Cash realization ratio. This ratio measures how closely a company's net income is to be realized in cash. For all of our 4 hotels, we can see that they behave nicely according to the ratio, but still, Seoul Media has a relatively high number, which indicates that it can generate a net income into cash for a very quick pace. In terms of accounting policies, we didn't actually see much differences. Shangri-La, which is an Asian company, is under Hong Kong Financial Reporting Standard, while our 2 European folks, Seoul Media and IHG, are under IFRS. Choice, which is an American company, is under GAAP standard. All of our hotels recognize their revenues when the services are rendered, and they all use straight line basis for depreciation method. We cannot find much differences for their useful life for PPE. Most of their buildings are under 50 years, and fixture, fittings, and equipment are from 3 to 15 years. So how can we improve the industry? What's our strategic accounting recommendation for the whole industry? Well, we separate this part in terms of 3 perspectives: cut costs, find new source of revenues, and increase preference for branded hotels. In order to cut costs, we recommend that hotels should restructure their organization. They should expand the scale while at the same time close some unprofitable ones. They can also launch great projects like what IHD did, improve energy efficiency, increase online sales and marketing. Trying to find new sources of revenues, we encourage that hotels should shift their focus from more mature markets into emerging markets like Asian market, especially China market. Last but not least, in order to increase preferences for branded hotels, hotels should build better customer relationship, focus more on guest experience, and improve customer satisfaction. In addition, they should also set staff training program in order to support the guest experience and customer satisfaction. So here is our whole analysis for the hotel industry. We really appreciate your time and patience. Thank you.